Good evening, and welcome to Home Horrors with Emily Gignac. I'm your host, Emily Gignac, and tonight on this final episode of Home Horrors, we'll be looking at the frightening fable of a fellow who fell for the facetious fallacy of the FSBO. Dracula was a guy who loved his home. It was spacious, dark, and draped with tons of velvet curtains. But when a new castle went up for sale down the road from him, he couldn't help but want to move in. It was perfectly haunted. Dracula, we'll call him Drac, was a very thrifty guy. He didn't want to spend a lot of money on agent commissions, so he thought he'll just sell his house on his own. Drac decided to FSBO. He popped a sign in his yard and put it up on Zillow with a few pictures. Satisfied with himself, he curled up in his coffin and waited for the phone calls to start coming in. The next day, a buyer called and wanted to see his house. But what Drac didn't realize is that he would have to be at all the showings since he didn't have an agent to show his home for him. The buyer wanted to see it at noon, but that simply wouldn't work for Drac. He was not available during the sunlight. He had to keep his shades drawn from dawn until dusk. Weeks went by with little interest in his lair. Finally, after 2 months of his home collecting cobwebs and spiders, a buyer said that they wanted to purchase his home. Amazing news, although they didn't offer full asking price. During the process, Drac realized just how many things could go wrong when selling your home. The buyer was unapproved by a lender at first. And when they did inspections, they asked for so many repairs, from the broken windows to the creaky staircase, all things that Drac thought added character to the home. His expenses started adding up, and he was getting in over his head. 2 days before the home was supposed to close, the buyer backed out. He said he just couldn't handle living in a house with that many ghosts. To be fair, Drac didn't disclose the fact that his house was haunted, but he had also learned that he didn't legally have to disclose if it was haunted. With no buyer anymore and 4 months wasted, Drac was back to square one. He went to the fridge, stood in the soft glow of the open door, and grabbed a cold red drink. He did not feel as positive as the liquid in his glass. He sat by his fireplace, surrounded by his only friends, the spirits that had loomed around him for the past 300 years. Drac accepted his fate, that his home would never sell, not even in another 300 years. Drac was just an honest vamp looking to sell his house, but his biggest mistake was falling for the lie that FSBOing would be cheaper and get him the same results. In reality, 9 out of 10 FSBOs eventually use a realtor to actually get their home sold. A lot can go wrong with a home sale, so it's important to have representation for financial, legal, communication, logistic, and marketing reasons. Local FSBO services may claim that they offer all the service without the commission, but the reality is they charge large fees and you still have to do all the work. Drac could have gotten his home sold if he had worked with a market expert, known how to price his home, how to qualify buyers, how to market it properly, how to negotiate repairs, and how to get it all the way to closing. Don't be taken advantage of by the lies of FSBOing. It's the biggest mistake you could make when trying to sell your home. Let's see what Lulu thought of this story. It looks like she's finally gotten in the Halloween spirit. Thanks for joining me on this final episode of Home Horrors. Enjoy the next 24 hours.